What's going on, Hormozi Nation? You're here with Alex Hormozi, YouTube's richest YouTuber, or richest YouTuber to be. I'm kidding. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name's Alex Hormozi. We own acquisition.com. We do about $85 million a year. I got a question the other day that was 5 things that millionaires think about that poor people don't. And I wanted to change that to billionaires. And that is because a lot of millionaires have terrible beliefs, and I tend to agree with Grant Cardone on this one, which is don't listen to millionaires, listen to billionaires. So you can choose to listen to me or not. I hope that we will be billionaires in the next 10 to 15 years, but we still have lots of work to go, and hopefully the world doesn't melt down between now and then. All right, so these are the 5 things that billionaires think about that millionaires do not think about. Number 1 is the size of the opportunity. A lot of times millionaires will pursue what most billionaires would consider small fries or small chips, table stakes, things that are just not that interesting because there's just not a huge amount of growth potential. Now, when you're getting started, it's not stupid to niche down. Many of the biggest businesses in the world started with a niche, but they had the ability or possibility to build something that was going to be truly enormous. And so the total addressable market, or the potential scale of a business itself, is something that a billionaire will think about that a millionaire will not. The second thing that millionaires do not think about or mistakenly prioritize is they prioritize promotion over product. The biggest question that a billionaire will ask about a company is, will people continue to buy this product over and over and over again? And stated differently, is this something that people will never stop buying? If people will never stop buying this thing, then it will be inevitable that we will make money, right? That is how they are thinking. Most millionaires, on the other hand, just learn promotion, and because that is how they made their first money, because they didn't make any money, and then they start learning how to promote and they make some money, they assume that I should just do more promotion. And with the exception of very big mass market brands that are direct to consumer and have big ticket items, for example, solar would be one where promotion is going to matter a lot, because you really are going to only sell someone one time on this for 30 years, so promotion is going to matter more in that situation. But most businesses have a recurring nature of some sort, right? And so making sure that the product is good enough that when we put the promotion behind it, people do not stop purchasing it so that we can get outsized returns on our marketing and our business model overall is something that billionaires will think about and not millionaires. The third thing that millionaires will mistake here is they will make the mistake of thinking, I can do this myself, or I'll just underpay just a handful of people to run this with me. So they will have what we call the genius with 1,000 slaves model versus army of smarter people. So the second criteria that I heard Stephen Schwartzman, who's the the founder of Blackstone, he's worth about $30 billion, talk about, was that first he looks at the size of the opportunity, and the second thing that he looks at is, drum roll, can I find 10 out of 10s who want to pursue this opportunity? And so here's the interesting thing. Big talent only chases big opportunity. And the reason, and he says this quote and it hit me really hard. He said, we didn't say this exactly, but I'm paraphrasing. He said, it's harder to start a small business than it is to start Blackstone, because big talent doesn't want to go pursue a small business opportunity. Think about that for a second. That one totally shook me to my core, right? Is that the reason we have to have these big goals is not just for ourselves to get through the muck of wanting more and going and suffering through the trials and tribulations that come with entrepreneurship, but also so that everyone around us can stomach it because they believe in where we are going, and it is something that is true, and it's a vision that is compelling, and the opportunity, and also the compensation that they can make, right? If you're running a dry cleaning store, it's very difficult to attract 10 out of 10 talent there. And I define 10 out of 10 talent as people who are the best in the world at the thing, right? 9 out of 10 talent is the best people in the world that I can attract given my company, right? And 8 is somebody who is very, very good at the thing and takes initiative and can yield outsized returns. A 7 is someone who is functional but has to take direction to execute, right? And a 6 and below, you don't want them in your business anyways, right? And the vast majority of businesses are run by 6s and belows. Let's be real. If you're looking at your team, most of the team is probably not best in the world or best in the world that you can get, right? Of course not. And that is probably because the size of the opportunity that you're chasing is not that good. Number 4 is time horizons. Most millionaires and people who don't make a lot of money think in very short time increments. They think in this week and this month. They're thinking, can I make payroll? Can I make rent? And I understand that. But the reason that the people gain outsized returns who are wealthier is because they see time as an asset rather than a liability. They see time working for them rather than against them. They see the opportunity compounding in and of itself because they have time on their side. And so the smart person, the billionaire, will look at the opportunity and say, does time help me or hinder me in this opportunity? Because I have this little quote that I like a lot. I prefer to play games where if you wait, you win. I'll say it again. I prefer to play games where if you wait, you win, where success is an inevitable consequence of time. You may not know when, but you do know whether you will get there. I would rather get rich for sure and get rich slowly than never get rich at all, always hoping that I'll make it in the next 90 days, which is what the vast majority of millionaires think. They're only thinking about their next promotion. They're only thinking about their next campaign. They're only thinking about the next thing they're going to do, rather than thinking big picture. If I do this for the next 10 years, what is going to position me for where I want to be and ultimately the opportunity that I want to pursue? And 5, the last thing that billionaires will prioritize over millionaires is brand. And this is something that I didn't understand really early on. I thought brand was a waste of money. I thought branding was stupid. But a different way of saying brand is reputation, right? And I heard a man that I do business with frequently say this, and I really like this a lot. He said, you only get one name. You only get one. And it really struck me, because I just thought that was such a consolidated way of communicating the point. We only get one name. And the thing is that your brand compounds with time. The more decisions you make that are integrous, that are aligned, that are not short-term in thinking, that are not sacrificing your integrity to get the short dollar, which is candidly what most people do. Most people do that, right? And that's why most people have a so-so or poor brand, right? They're like, yeah, he's pretty good, but he kind of does some stuff every once in a while that's a little shady, right? But if you have an impeccable brand, the other types of people that you will attract will be people who have impeccable brands. And I can tell you this, is that the area on the top of the mountain is very, very sparsely populated. There are not a lot of people at the top, and they all know each other. It's crazy. And you know why? It's because they seek out people who see the world the same way they see the world. And it's an exception to the rule rather than the vast majority. And so if you want to have game recognized game, if you want those people to sit across the table and look at you as an equal, then it starts with the character of the person. And if the character is right, the billionaire will bet on the character of the individual, knowing that they will get to where they're trying to go eventually in enough time, because it is an inevitability provided the values continue. And so when you're making the business decisions, taking the long route that takes longer but will most certainly compound and make you wealthier in the long run is what billionaires will do rather than millionaires, all right? And so I wanted to make this about billionaires rather than millionaires, because candidly, if you just know how to run some ads, you can be a millionaire, right? You can learn how to promote and sell stuff. The stuff you might sell might suck, but you might make enough money to be a millionaire. But to be a billionaire, you got to play the game for a long time, which means you have to understand that you must play the game for a long time in order to become a billionaire. And if you're playing the game for a long time to be a billionaire, then all your decisions are going to be made within that time horizon and the context that come with that, the decision-making process. And so if we're thinking about this, if there's one thing that you can take away from this that billionaires would think about, that millionaires do not, is understanding the time horizon, right? Because all of these other components roll into that, right? If we have a long time horizon, we've been doing this forever, I don't want to be the one who's doing it all. So I don't want to be the genius with 1,000 slaves. I want an army of smarter people who are going to do this on my behalf. I want 10 out of 10s who are pursuing this opportunity and can grow it without me, right? If I want this to truly be something that is going to change my life, I can't pursue a small thing for my entire life. I got to pursue something big, because it has to be worth it. Because, and I heard this from Schwartzman and I love it too, he said, small goals and big goals are equally hard. So you might as well make it worth it. Right? It's just as hard to accomplish making $100,000 a year as it is for somebody to make $1 billion a year. Think about it. The time requirement is the same. Arguably, it's less to make $1 billion a year. You just have to think differently about it. If I'm going to be around for a very long time, I'm going to outlive my promotion. And so only thing that will remain will be the product and what people talk about with the product. And the decisions that I chose to make with my brand, because I was thinking long term. And so everything comes down to this concept, which is, can you think beyond this week, this month, this quarter, and think, when I look back 80 years from now, are the decisions that I'm making right now the ones that I would be proud of, that are aligned with the long-term goal of seizing the big opportunity that is worth fighting for? And so this is what I have learned and gleaned from the handful of billionaires that I talk to. And I constantly am trying to analyze them and think, what do they have that I don't? And maybe it's that I'm just too young and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, which is oftentimes the response that I get. And so anyways, Mosey Nation, the reason I make this channel is because there's a lot of broke people and I don't want you to be one of them. These are the traits that billionaires will look through the lenses of, rather than millionaires who often make short-term, short-sighted mistakes in pursuing their goals. And so I don't want you to do those. So anyways, my name is Alex Hormozi. Like I said, ownacquisition.com. If you liked it, hit subscribe. If you didn't, I love you either way. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.